Good afternoon, everybody. I am Jed Lewis, and welcome to my channel. This is the first video that I have on this channel, and I want to do a brief introduction. And then we're going to talk about something that may be beneficial, all right? So, I'm Jed Lewis, as I said. I recently retired from law enforcement, 27 plus years doing that job. It was a good job. I spent the majority of everything in patrol at every level, right? And I learned a lot about leadership, and I learned a lot about myself in this career. And I learned a lot about people. I have been a law enforcement instructor in defensive tactics and firearms, patrol procedures, and other things for probably 25 years. I went through my first instructor course in 2001, if that tells you anything. So anyways, yeah, so I'm getting a little old, right? I have a family. We've got 4 children. All are adults. And we have some critters around the house. We've got a dog, a couple of cats. And I've been married for 29 years to an amazing woman that has been through a lot with me, all right? So there's my brief intro for you. Also, one thing I forgot, which I shouldn't because I'm standing in my school, I own a martial arts school. Lewis Martial Arts, my son Connor and I, we run this school. He's my partner in this school. And we teach American Kenpo Karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I started teaching American Kenpo Karate in 1995-ish, and we've been going ever since. There have been some times, like when I was overseas, where we weren't teaching, of course, but we are strong. We are going strong. We are doing great things. And yeah, so many times I have people ask me, and they say, hey, you know what? Or they'll say, hey, I really want to do jiu-jitsu, but I've never done it before. Or I really want to do karate, but I've never done it before. And I say, great, I'd never done it before either. Everybody has to start. And they say, well, I'll be embarrassed because I don't know anything. And it gets me thinking, I'm like, why is it that we feel like we have to have all of the answers, or we have to have all of the knowledge, we have to have all of the skills before we've even done anything, right? So when I was looking at retirement, and there's more to this story that I'll share in future videos probably, but a few years ago I really started looking at it, and I'm like, I think it's time for me to move on. I felt like I was called to do something a little bit bigger and a little bit more influential, right? Now, in my job, I was a patrol sergeant, and then I promoted to lieutenant, and I had a pretty good span of control. I had many people that were under me, people that I got the pleasure to serve as their sergeant and as their lieutenant. But I found that I was becoming out of alignment with what I felt like I really needed to do. And I was at I took a little time off from work to get some things squared away, some health things. And I went to a martial arts business function during that time. And it was in New York. And it was awesome because my jiu-jitsu instructor was actually there. He was presenting a class on jiu-jitsu, and I got to help out on that. And that was pretty awesome. But I felt like there was going to be somebody or something that would be a catalyst that would help me make some decisions and change a little bit, or make positive changes in my life. The keynote speaker to that event was a guy named Craig Siegel. Now, Craig wrote a book called The Reinvention Formula. I highly encourage everybody to read that book. The book literally changed the direction of my life because it gave me some knowledge that I didn't previously have. And it also let me know, and meeting Craig let me know that I wasn't alone in the struggles that I was having. So I went up to Craig and I said, hey, I want to learn to do what you do. And ever since then, he's been one of my best buddies. I have been a personal client of his for a few years now. And I've been very, very blessed to be part of that community with him and the other people that are part of that. Now, why do I share this with you? Well, because like I said to Craig, I wanted to do what he was doing. I wanted to help people find confidence to make changes. Now, I found out a few things. I found out that I was misaligned, that my value system, the things that were important to me, were not getting accomplished because of the environment that I was in. Now, that's not saying that I couldn't stay in law enforcement and still accomplish some of these things, but I felt I was getting to the point where if I really wanted to do this, I had to make a choice because I didn't have the time to do everything. Now, I was eligible for retirement, so it was like, well, let's make this change. But the crazy thing about it was, I wasn't certain that I could provide for my family, because throughout my life, I'll be honest, I haven't been the best with money. But I have learned to change my consciousness about money, and therefore I am getting better with money. And I am learning how to use it as the energy that it is, as opposed to be a slave to having to make it or a slave to having to pay it out. So I have been coaching, like I said before, I've been coaching martial arts students for many, many years. And in my coaching, in my instructing of these amazing people, many times I've found that I've been a mentor to them. I've helped them work through some different problems in their lives. And so it's something that I've been doing forever, it seems. And I'm like, well, let's just bump this up a little bit more, and maybe I can help somebody that's on a path that I have been on. And I haven't perfected that path, I haven't completed that path, but I may be a little bit further ahead. So let's talk about things. Craig asked me this question once. He said, if your past was not a reference point, what could you accomplish? And I'm like, man, I could accomplish all kinds of things. Because I was judging myself on my past failures, not my past successes. And I wasn't utilizing those failures as teaching points. I had to change how I saw my past. Past is a reference point. The past is the training ground for today and for tomorrow, who you want to be. I am a better father for my youngest son than I was for my oldest children. My oldest daughter, I've got one daughter and 3 boys. I am better with the younger one than I was with the others because I learned to be better. I learned how to solve problems more effectively. And when my daughter was born, shocker, I'd never been a parent before. So, a few things have come to me about this, and I have some notes here, right? My past was preparation for who I am today. When I start growing, my problems become more meaningful, because instead of looking at challenges and problems as something that I can't accomplish or something that is an obstacle, I started looking at them as like bumpers at the bowling alley, right? You put those bumpers up and you throw the ball down and the ball bounces from bumper to bumper, and you know what? It still gets down to the pins. Challenges, setbacks, problems, obstacles, they are bumpers that help keep me in alignment on the path of growth. Then I came up with this philosophy, and it's nothing really new, but maybe it's new in how it's presented. So I'm going to present it to you, all right? I call it the base. In everything I do in life, I have to have a base. If I build a house, I have to have a solid, awesome foundation. In the martial arts, I need to establish a good base. Otherwise, I will be pushed around. In life, I have to have a good base. I have to have good values. I have to have something that is going to keep me going and keep me on the right path of growth and to become the divine person that I am meant to be, right? So, B, build relationships. A, alignment. S, subordinate the ego. E, empower. Now, I use this as a leadership philosophy because if I want to be better, if I want to have a better team, I need to build relationships with my team. I have to make sure my team is aligned with the mission, and I have to put my ego aside. I have to subordinate the ego and realize that it's not about me, it's about the team, and it's about the mission. And then I have to empower my people. I have to empower my team to have the tools, to have the knowledge to grow and develop. Earlier today, I was having this discussion with one of my students, actually, one of my martial arts students. And we were talking about the importance of replacing yourself in everything you do. I think egos get so involved in leadership positions, in leadership in any place, police department, military, I don't know, working at the grocery store. Everybody has their little kingdom. They build their little kingdom. Their ego does not allow them to share that kingdom. And I will empower somebody as long as it doesn't encroach on my kingdom. Well, that's the wrong approach, right? We need to empower our people so that they can replace us. That is how we create lasting change. Now we look at this base, and now we're going to apply it to ourselves just a little bit. I need to build relationships with me. What? You got to build a relationship with yourself? Yeah. I live with myself every day. I am the one person that I see all the time. How do I communicate with myself? How do I see me? Right? Through what glasses am I looking? What is my paradigm of me? Alignment. I need to be aligned. Now, I need to be aligned with my values. I need to be aligned with my personal mission. I need to be aligned with the divine. I need to align myself with the plan that God has for me. Because it is through that relationship that I can truly find my divine potential and my definite purpose. I need to subordinate my ego. I need to realize that, yeah, I can get out on the mat and I can look foolish. Having never done jiu-jitsu before, it's okay to come out here and not know anything. I need to keep that ego in check, because in every relationship, if my ego is running the relationship's not going to last. And then I need to be empowered. I need to empower myself. How do I do that? I empower myself through education. I empower myself through prayer. I empower myself by preparing myself every day to be the best version of me that I can be for that day. Now, the story of the base, right? When I teach martial arts, I teach about the importance of having a good solid base, because from my base comes power. I was asked to do a presentation for an organization here in my state. And I had some things done. It was a leadership presentation, and I'm going through, and I had all this cool stuff that I was going to say, but it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right at all. I was in the hotel, going to sleep, and I was thinking about this. It's the night before the presentation. And then about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and it hit me. Base. Talk about the base. Talk about the foundation to everything. Building relationships. Alignment with the divine. Alignment with the mission. Subordinate the ego. And empowering your people. Now, my feedback after I gave this presentation, the feedback was really, really good. And I appreciated the opportunity to get out there and get a rep in. And but it really sparked something in me that this can be applied to everybody in every aspect of their lives, not just leadership of an organization, but leadership of ourselves. So if you are struggling on having the courage to make a change, if you are struggling with not being aligned, let's work together. Let's do something that can help. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to host a workshop. This workshop will be on the base philosophy. Now, we're going to do it in two different workshops, right? The first one will be the base concept of leadership in organizations. How do I build my teams? How do I make sure my teams are aligned? How do I keep my ego in check, and how do I empower my people? But then the other one is, how do I apply base to myself? We've already talked a little bit about that, but that workshop will be very important because I want to help people have the courage to transform, the courage to move forward from where they are to where they feel they need to be. So how do we do that? We do it by finding our alignment. We do it by building relationships with ourselves, finding our alignment with us, with our values, with our mission, with the divine, subordinating that ego, and being empowered. So if this is something that interests you, drop me a message. Put something down here in the chats saying, hey, let me know when this is going on. I'm going to put something out on Facebook as well about this, so keep posted on that, or stay tuned for that, rather. And yeah, these workshops are going to be up and coming. If you feel like you are trapped, that you cannot move forward, reach out. Reach out. I am dedicated now to helping people, to help people achieve the potential that they have. I want people to know that they are loved, that they are valued. You have a definite and divine purpose. When you are struggling in life, there is always somebody there to help you. There is always somebody that walks by you. There's always somebody that will carry the load when you can't carry it. So, that's my first video. It's not perfect. I don't care. But it's done with love. And hopefully we can work together. We can do some great things together. And yeah, pass this on. All right? Have a wonderful day, everybody. You are worth more than you can even imagine. I think if we could really see who we are, who we truly are, our divine selves, that we would be in awe of ourselves. Keep in mind that you are spiritual beings having a mortal experience. And because you are spiritual beings, or we are spiritual beings, and we are literal children of the divine, of a Father in heaven that loves us, we can be heirs to everything that He has for us. That's pretty powerful. When I have felt like I am very, very small, I just need to remember who I am. And that's hard to remember sometimes. So, anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Go off and do something good for somebody, all right? And know that you're loved. Have a good one, you guys.